Hello and welcome to Rotten Rewind TV, a place where we'll talk about all things horror, whether it be films, games, TV shows, the lot. Now, I'm pretty sure we've all seen the trailer for the new Silent Hill game, Silent Hill Townfall. I think it looks excellent from what we've seen so far, and I'm really excited to play it. The developers have said that it's based in a real place in Scotland, Fife, called St Monans. Look at these fucking effects. You're welcome.
Seriously though, this is a place shaped by loss, history and centuries of stories. A place of ancient graves, weather-beaten stone and memories buried beneath the surface. This is where fog rolls in from the North Sea, where graves watch over empty streets, where history clings to every wall. Spooky stuff.
So come with me and we'll have a gander at where Silent Hill Townfall is based and see what secrets we might uncover.
At first glance, St Monans looks peaceful, quiet, coastal and harmless, but like most places that end up in horror games, it's got a past. Saints, martyrs, lost records, battles, witch trials, loads of dark shit. In Silent Hill Townfall, this place becomes St Amelia, a fictional town that's based heavily on St Monans, and once you know the history, you might start to see why.
The village is named after St Monan, a 6th century shagger missionary who lived first in Pittenweem, which I'll talk about later, and then in a cave by the sea, which is where the St Monans church, known as the Old Kirk, is located today. The church itself has its own dark history. A woman named Maggie was accused of witchcraft here centuries ago after the father of her child drowned. She was found guilty, then she was strangled and burned. Right there in the churchyard, her ashes were placed in a spire in something called the burnt loft, and this is so the wind would carry them away and they wouldn't settle on consecrated ground. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! I actually thought you could still get into the cave today, but the church is in its place now. However, there is a cave in a neighbouring village in Pittenweem, which I'll show you later. That was really cool. But in order to get into the cave, you need to go to a chocolate shop, ask for a key, walk down to the hidden cave, use the key to unlock a big metal gate, and then go in to check out the old digs. It's called St Fillan's or Phelan's Cave. I mean, come on, we've all played these games, we all know it's not as simple as just going straight through the door. First you'll need to go and get a fuse, and then part of like a doll statue, and then you'll find a key, and then another key that then you have to go back 20 minutes to another door to then go in that room and then get another key, and then you go through and finally get a door. So I thought that was really relatable and pretty cool.
Going back to our pal St Monan, even his death is a bit of a mess, or at least the details are. It's shrouded in mystery. Some say that Vikings killed him, some say that he survived and then got murdered later.
But who knows, maybe some bound and gagged stone shark fin-faced monster thing got him. We just don't know. I think that's pretty cool lore straight off the bat though.
Now this is St Monans Church. It's 14th century, right on the edge of the sea. It's about 20 metres from falling in. Graves behind it, waves in front, wind constantly screaming. I mean, if this was in a game, something horrible would happen here, or would have happened here, and is probably bound to happen again. Guaranteed. And I love it. I mean, look at that. Look at it, man. It's magnificent, isn't it? It was actually really cool being able to go and check out some of the graves. A lot of them go a long, long way back, like 1700s. And that's just the ones I saw. I didn't really want to go and trample all over the top of graves just for the details, but there you are. Now for some rotten history. In the year 875, Vikings attacked this coast and thousands were killed. Then in 1548, another massacre. 5,000 English soldiers landed here. The locals dug trenches, filled them with fuel, and then set them ablaze. On yourselves!
Just a wee joke there. The English walked straight into smoking flames, and around 900 were killed. And a lot of the official records were lost at sea. Barrels of Scottish history gone in a shipwreck.
Which brings us on to another tragedy. 1,000 years after the Viking attack in 875, the worst fishing disaster in Fife's history took place. 37 men left in multiple fishing boats and would never return, leaving 11 women widowed and 43 children without fathers. There is a memorial statue in Pittenweem that's dedicated to the fisher folk who lost their lives at sea. I think this could potentially make a cool tie-in to the story from what we've seen so far, which I'll go into a bit later. Will the developers tie any of these horrible histories into the game? I'm not sure, but I want to chap their door in Glasgow and just scream for the answers. I can't fucking wait to play this, Like, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high for them to be shattered into a million pieces, but they're Scottish developers, so it'll be excellent. Now, right next door to St Monans is a place called Pittenweem. This comes with its own dark history, which is pretty creepy, and I think would be really cool if the developers implemented or injected some of that lore in. For example, the Three Witches of Pittenweem. In 1705, 3 women were tortured and killed here, accused of witchcraft, based all on the stories of a 16-year-old boy. Little prick. No evidence, no trial, just pure panic. One of the accused, Janet Cornfoot, was horrifically tortured for weeks, and after this she was stoned at the harbour, and then just for good measure, they placed a door on top of her, chucked huge heavy boulders on top, crushing her, and then just for the cherry on top, they drove a cart over her body. Psychos. And after this she was dumped in a mass grave. Nobody was punished. The liar who started it all walked free, and that is not folklore, that is real. That is horrendous, and without sounding insensitive, it would be fantastic lore for Townfall. And by the way, this is just one example. Scotland's witch history is horrific. Thousands of people were accused and executed in a country this size. Salem gets all the attention, but honestly, and this might be biased, but Scotland was just way darker and way more gruesome. It wasn't just hangings, it was torture, public executions, whole towns get involved. It was brutal. So when you look at places like this, you start wondering, are the developers going to go down that route? Would you like them to go down that route? Witches creep me out, and see if done right, it could be excellent. And I mean, with everything we've just talked about, they've got more than enough material. Now, there's also this memorial which I found pretty cool and sad at the same time. It was for fishermen lost at sea. It was quiet, respectful, heavy, and it's another reminder that death here just was not rare. Men would leave their families and hope to see them again, but a lot of them never would. It's a tragic thought, and the protagonist in Townfall mentions he had to come back. Was he a fisherman who left only to find grief and sorrow at sea, or something else?
And speaking of the protagonist, I know there was some controversy online about the main character not being Scottish or European, and I get it. It would have been so cool to have a Scottish main character in Silent Hill, but I grew up in the 90s, about 20 minutes away from St Monans, and I can confirm that we did have black people. There wasn't loads, but they were there. Black Scottish people do exist, you can Google it. What we didn't have were Americans kicking about, to be honest, but ultimately what matters is whether it's going to fit the story or not, but only time will tell. And another really cool thing is that the game is going back to first person. Silent Hill 4 had an element of first person when you went back to the room, and of course the PT demo was all in first person as well. So I think it really does bring a new layer of fear at times and changes up the gameplay a little. I feel like I'm more in the game, if that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to experience what the devs have came up for us there.
So yeah, that is St Monans and Pittenweem.
Lovely, beautiful places, horrendous pass, and maybe the perfect setting for Silent Hill.
Seriously though, let me know what you all think in the comments below. If you think any of the Scottish lore that we talked about will be in-game, or if you have any other ideas that I've not talked about, share them. I'm really excited for this. I've been a fan ever since the first game, and it still blows my mind that this new game is taking place 20 minutes from where I grew up. It is crazy, and I'm all for it. And I'm thinking about doing another video closer to the game releasing where we might see more game footage, or I might wait until it's released and then do a deep dive and look for any more similarities that we've not seen yet. I think that would be pretty cool.
Thanks very much for watching. You are all top horror shaggers. Catch you later.